y'all showed up. So thank you for being here. I'm delighted to be here. I will get to the theme of the month and the topic for the week. I'm going to digress just for a moment because I go through these phases of reading. I like to read fiction. I also read nonfiction, but I'm a big fiction person. I like novels. I just finished a book called Hello, Beautiful, which was just got to talk to my daughter on a Saturday morning. I said, hi. And she said, Mom, what's wrong? I'm finishing this book. It's just so good. So she read the book. She loved it. Now I'm looking for a new book to read. So I Google on Amazon bestsellers, Oprah's Book Club, and I come across this book that sounds interesting. So I order it on Amazon and I get it. And it's 700 pages. But I thought, okay, I can tackle this. I can do this one day at a time, one page at a time, right? So immediately I'm intrigued by the characters. They're just jumping out of on the pages into my room, just immediately loving this story. And then I come to page 5. Page 5. Not a week later, no. 5 minutes later. Not that slow. And it says this, check it out. You don't need to know the background of the story. It's not important. But it says this. Faith is to know the pattern is there, even though none is visible. Faith is to know the pattern of perfection is right there in the midst of seeming chaos, seeming heartbreak, betrayal, lack, loss, limitation. There is a pattern of perfection at the center of all of it, and that's what we get to lean into when we practice these principles, right? So then, 6 months later, page 200, again, the background of the story is not important that you know, but it says this. In this new awareness that this character is realizing, the restless chattering in his head abruptly ceases. Just as the ocean manifests as a wave or surf, but neither wave nor surf is the ocean, so also the Creator, God or Brahma, generates an impression of a universe that takes the form of a Swedish doctor, a leper. The blind Swedish doctor is real. The leper is real. The fishing net that they're holding is real, yet it is all Maya. Their separateness and illusion. All is one. The universe is nothing but a speck of foam on a limitless ocean that is the Creator. The character then feels euphoric and unburdened, the peace of God, which passeth understanding. That's what I come here for. And that's what I get when I'm anchored and grounded in truth. So thank you for letting me digress. Now, let me remind us that the theme for the month is my passion, my purpose. And I was remembering many years ago when I was quite young, a young mom with young kids. And I know this is not an AA meeting, but it's part of my story. I was finding myself trying to get sober and questioning, why am I here? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? Because I didn't know. I was very confused. And then I picked up the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and it gave me a purpose. It said, our primary purpose is to stay sober and help another alcoholic achieve sobriety. And I latched onto that with a passion, because finally, I had found a purpose which served me very well and still does, quite frankly. I found other purposes as my career path accelerated and my education advanced. My passion, my purpose. And by the way, I lived that purpose with a great deal of passion, and I still do. So the first week, Reverend Mike talked about awakening to your passion. The second week, we got into some alliteration with the 3 Ps, percolating your passion with purpose. And this week, I get to talk about perfectly imperfect passions. When my daughter got married, we discovered that she and her bride-to-be, at the time, both loved the John Legend song, All of Me. It's okay. So I learned it on the ukulele, because I play a little ukulele, not much, a little bit. And they asked me to sing it at their wedding. So the other bride's brother learned it on the guitar. We practiced a few times. And we played it while they were walking up to the huppah. And the line in it that is relevant, if you don't know the song, is, all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, your perfect imperfections. Right? Perfectly imperfect. I think all of me needs to love all of me before all of me can love all of you. And that has been a journey for me. That has been my journey. It's the journey to self-love. And I can say to you today that most of the time, all of me loves all of me. And most of me loves most of you. No, that's a joke. I want to say all of me loves all of you. You know, but I've struggled with whether or not you can love me when my own birth, this is the BS, the belief system. And the other BS, that I told myself for years that because my birth mother gave me away, how can anybody love me? I must be unlovable. Well, I know that isn't so, and I've let go of that BS, and I've come into alignment with a different belief system that we share here together. So the struggle was also, can you love me, all of me, even with this funny little mole at the base of my ear? Even though my body has been, let me just say, altered as a result of a condition? Can you love me even though I'm aging? But I'm aging perfectly. Can I still be lovable with a few extra, wrinkles and saggy and whatever the story is that we tell ourselves? The truth is, however, that we are expressions of the divine. Yes? Yes? Amen to that?
Amen.
We are perfect, whole, and complete. Yes?
Amen.
And isn't it our perfect imperfections that make us unique expressions of infinite intelligence, unique expressions of peace and joy and love and prosperity and abundance and wholeness? It's interesting that sometimes when we're doing or wanting to do what we love to do, that little voice creeps in. It's not going to be as good as theirs. I was talking to Margot, who did this beautiful mosaic here, by the way. That's the latest addition to our sanctuary of her beautiful work. And I was thinking, oh my God, what if Margot didn't do all this beautiful artwork because she didn't think she was good enough? Then we'd miss out on this feast for the eyes. I was speaking to one of our new practitioners, Ginny, and I asked her if I could tell this story, who decided her passion happens to be theater. And she decided that she wanted to do a theater camp for our youth. And we promoted it and promoted it and promoted it, and there weren't a lot of people, taking advantage of the offer. And she got to thinking that maybe she just shouldn't do it. And I asked her about, self-doubt. And she said, yeah, I was wondering, because I hadn't done it in a long time, I was wondering if it would still be good enough. Why do we always do that to ourselves? But you know what? She stepped into that unknown. She stepped away from that self-doubt and did it anyway. And she had a fabulous experience. And she was sharing with me some of the nuggets of perfection that she got to witness in the kids who were there. And she got support from Reverend Nikki, and it turned out perfectly. And I came across a story that Jim Carrey tells, who apparently, from a very young age, had a natural talent and passion for being dramatic and entertaining and comedic, funny. And apparently, when he was very young, his parents would have friends over and he would entertain them. When he was 12, his father got let go of a safe job that he had taken as an accountant. He got let go from that job, even though he thought it was going to be a safe job. And the moral of the story that Jim Carrey took away from that was that you can fail at what you don't even like doing, so why not take a chance at doing what you love? Why not do what your heart is longing to do? And it may turn out perfectly imperfect. It'll always be perfect, right? One way or another. And then he says that his dad himself could have been a very successful comedian, but didn't feel like that would put food on the table for the family. So he took a job as an accountant and then got let go. Nelson Mandela says that there is no passion to be found in playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. Oh, I'm sorry, let me say this. Shout out to my grandkids. Now, my grandson, who's 13, helped me put together a slideshow. And his sister is 10, and she helped also. And I said, I will give you a shout out at service for helping me. And Ryder said, well, I should get a bigger shout out because I helped you more. So thank you, Ryder. And thank you, Skylar, for helping me put together this slideshow. It's not going to be in perfect order of my talk because I'm still learning how to navigate all that, but I hope it's not too distracting to you. So listen, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, yeah? We can wrap our minds around that. I am a spiritual being, and I am having a human experience. And sometimes it feels like in this culture that we live in, which sometimes gets messy, yeah? Lives sometimes get messy. But it seems also that we live in a culture that can be judgmental. And one in which mistakes or imperfection are viewed with negativity. And thank you, Reverend Kathy, for bringing some positive stories into the forefront, and thank you for your wonderful creative thought. Thomas Edison took a long time to figure out that light bulb thing. And apparently, I mean, there is a quote from him that says, "I have not failed. I just found 10,000 ways that don't work." What a great way to look at that. And what if we looked at imperfection as I'm perfect? I am Perfection. I'm perfect. Or if we looked at imperfection not as the opposite of perfection, but as a way to free ourselves of the need to be seemingly perfect. That's freedom, I think. That's a form of freedom. And yet, even as we discover and desire to pursue our passions and our purpose, we often judge ourselves and compare ourselves to others. Listen, I sing in the choir that we have here, which is great. Scott is great. We have a great time. We laugh a lot. It's really fun. And I don't have a perfect voice. It's perfectly imperfect. But I'm not going to quit singing in the choir because my voice isn't as good as Miss Kitty's. Well, no, it's true. But wouldn't that be, I'd be kicking myself in the backside and depriving myself of something that I love to do. I love to sing. It uplifts me. Wouldn't it be silly for me to quit just because my voice isn't as good as Kitty's? Or I don't sound as good as Kitty, you know, or anyone else in the choir for that matter. Excuse me. So I get to remember that my so-called imperfections are actually unique expressions of the divine manifesting as me. And I don't want to judge too soon without allowing time to reveal the perfection of my passionate path. Just don't want to judge too soon. I have a student at one of my schools who I met with. Last week was our first week back to school, and I've known this student for a while. And last year, I mean, when I first met him, he barely spoke. He was quite what we might want to call depressed, seemingly. And I discovered with him that he loves music. He likes head-banging rock and roll, which is fine. You know, that's what he likes. He's playing the guitar for like a year now. I think he fantasizes or has a vision of himself being a rock and roll star. He's got the hair, you know. And last year we had a huge breakthrough when I was teaching him to play Hallelujah. I was playing it on the ukulele. I was teaching him to play it on the guitar. I'd say, C, 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 F, 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 C, and he'd play the chords, and we got it. And it was a day when the rest of the school was doing statewide testing, and he came late to school, so he didn't get to do the testing. So we had 3 hours in my office to practice this, and his eyes lit up. And he smiled and he laughed, and it was like, what? Who are you? It was fantastic. And now we come back from summer, and he realizes that he's gotten so far behind in his credits, and all of his friends graduated, and now he has no friends, and I don't have any friends, and I'm not good enough, and I'm so stupid, and how did I let this happen, and all that critical self-talk. And I said, like, are you playing the guitar? Do what makes you feel good. Do what is your passion. And let us reap the benefits of that. Please Don't deprive us of this beautiful artwork. Don't deprive us of your beautiful voice, Kitty, because it doesn't sound exactly like Billie Holiday. Close enough. It's close enough. Ernest Holmes says that the whole purpose of the science of mind is to reconcile the apparent separation of the spiritual world, which must be perfect, with the material world, which appears imperfect. And he also says that disregarding all evidence to the contrary, the student of truth will maintain that he lives in a perfect universe and amongst people who are potentially perfect. I see your perfection. Regulating our thinking and refusing to believe in the opposite. At first, we may be influenced by conditions. We may appear to be weak, but as time goes on, we will prove to ourselves that my position is a correct one. For that which appears imperfect will begin to slip from my experience, and all I will see is perfection. In the storms, in the fires, in the seeming chaos, in what I think is real with my human mind, but I know is an illusion, because the truth is that God is all there is, and if God is good, then it's all good. It's all good, because it's all God. There's I saw a post that Reverend Maureen put up on Facebook with a beautiful spiraling thing that says, my favorite conspiracy theory is that everything's going to be okay. Let's join in knowing that. Maestro.
Wow.
Just a little background music. So I'll close us out with a prayer. So let us know. Let us join together in that conspiracy theory that everything's going to be okay. That right now everything is okay. Let us dip deeply and anchor ourselves with strong roots in the truth of knowing that God is all there is. There is one power, there is one presence, there is one life of all, and no other power can exist outside of the infinite. It is my life. My life is the life of God. Infinite intelligence, love, peace, joy, creativity, abundance, prosperity, wholeness, health, life. Life is flowing through me. And I am an expression of perfection, whole and complete. My imperfections are perfect. So I speak my word from this place of unification, in this consciousness of oneness for each of us here, for everyone within the sound of my voice, and for everyone everywhere, claiming and accepting and declaring and proclaiming that all is well. All is well with my heart. All is well in the universe. We live in a perfect universe. If it were not perfect, it could not exist for another moment in time. All is well. All is well. And I am claiming and accepting and declaring that each one here lets go of any self-judgment, negative self-talk, fear, doubt, or worry, and steps passionately with percolating purpose into their greatest yet to be, overcoming any obstacles that have heretofore stood in their way, banished now to the nothingness from where they came. And we glide and drift and anchor into the truth of our beingness, perfect, whole, and complete, capable, loving, loved, determined, passionate, purposeful, mindful. And any time, any element, if it dare creep into our awareness, we kick it in the backside. We let go of that BS that isn't ours, that isn't true. And we remain steadfast in our awareness of who and what we are. And for this, and so much more than words can say, I am so grateful and so thankful for knowing that infinite intelligence says in reply, yes, my beloved, yes, in you I am well pleased. I am free. I am free in the spirit. I'm only here for God. So I let it go. I let it be. I know it is so. And in agreement, please join me in affirming this truth by saying together, so it is.